Hello and welcome to another episode of the Losers Win Again Fantasy Football Channel. I'm your host, Jacob Brown, and week 1 is in the books, and man, we had some good things happen. We're going to talk about it right here, and I hope your week 1 went as good as mine. If you followed the plays, if you followed the advice, you probably won some money. So let's go ahead and get after it. It's official, we're 1-0. For our season-long DFS. And to top things off, no Tyreek Hill, no problem for the Chiefs and Patrick Mahomes and company. Guys, Chiefs looked amazing yesterday. Basically, there was no contest. Kyler Murray could not stand toe-to-toe with Patrick Mahomes week 1, and it showed. Saquon Barkley was worth the risk. We're going to go over my exposures here in a little bit, but Saquon Barkley was my highest owned running back, and it was worth the risk. I was pretty nervous about it all day long, and once those afternoon games hit, he broke his stride in like the second quarter, and it was amazing. Michael Pittman was also worth the risk. Highest owned wide receiver, best value, the best clear value on the slate. He did it for us in a big way. Jahan Dotson came up big. He was one of those guys that I was very iffy about, but I preached to you guys all week long that Jahan Dotson was a better play than Dobbs or Cobb, and it came up big for us, and I was very happy how that happened. Steelers and Dolphins defenses were great plays. If you didn't have them, more than likely you didn't win the top prizes. And I had a little bit of exposure to both those teams. Like I said, we'll go over my exposures here in a little bit. But yeah, Steelers and Dolphins were the plays, and they helped you get to heights that you probably wouldn't get to if you didn't have them. AJ Green was my... Oh, hold up, no. I regret picking Kyler Murray over Jalen Hurts, mainly due to the fact that Jalen Hurts was the best play on the slate value-wise, and I just didn't pick him. I felt like he might have busted. And I don't feel 100% bad about that because he didn't have any passing touchdowns, which was the key thing. He did throw a lot more than I thought he was going to. It was a lot more competitive game. It was the highest scoring game on the week. So, yeah, definitely kind of kicking myself there, but we won a lot, so I'm not really tripping about it. But yeah, AJ Green was my overall biggest flop of the week. I think he only got like 2 or 3 points for Draftkings. Huge disappointment. I had a lot of ownership on him. But overall, it was a great week. We're 1-0. I can't complain. Our wallet got a little fatter over the weekend, guys, and that's what it's all about when we're doing these contests. So yeah, so let's go over how I did. So here's how we did overall. I started at $151.40, spent $151. The total at the end of the week was $913.30. Our earned lost $913.30 plus 151 equals $762.3. Our overall profit was $762.3. Great week. I mean, I couldn't complain even more. I mean, buying in at $151 and basically 6xing what I spent is pretty good. I'll take that any day of the week. 6xing your spent margin is awesome. And I'm hoping I don't have to spend another $151 ever again this season. I'm planning on not putting another dime into my bankroll. I wanted to get this bankroll to continue to grow. So hopefully we can continue this success leading into week 2. So let's go over our exposures. And I know this is hard to see, so bear with me here. At the top, we had Michael Pittman Jr. as our highest exposed player at 76% exposure. I made 21 lineups, and he was in 16 of them. Saquon Barkley, the second highest exposed player at 62%, 13 lineups out of 21. Jahan Dotson, also 62% with 13 lineups out of 21. Marquise Brown, 11 lineups out of 21 with a 52% exposure. AJ Green really burned me, 9 lineups, 43% exposure. Travis Kelce, 9 lineups, 43% exposure. Patrick Mahomes, 7 lineups, 33% exposure. Look, all my quarterbacks were 33% exposed. Just due to the fact that I had 21 lineups. I played 7 stacks with Patrick Mahomes. I played 7 stacks with Kyler Murray, and I played 7 stacks with Justin Herbert, all 33% owned. Juju Smith-Schuster, also 33% owned. Austin Eckler was 29% owned with 6 lineups. Clyde Edwards-Helaire did great things for us yesterday. 6 lineups, 29% owned. Lions defense was 6 lineups, not 29% owned. Jamar Chase, 5 lineups, 24% owned. Joe Mixon also 24% owned. Keenan Allen got hurt early in the game. Had 4 lineups with him, 19% owned. The Commanders defense, I had 4 lineups, 19% owned. I had 4 lineups with the Steelers, which was a huge break. They had 25 or 26 Draftkings points, which was basically like a starting quarterback's points or a star running back's points. You got that with a defense that was only $2,400. They were completely mispriced. I wish I would have had more of them. I probably would have won a lot more money. But I had them with 19% owned. Nicole Hardman was 19% owned. He did pretty good. James Conner, he was 19% owned for me. He did great yesterday. I can't wait to see what he's priced for next week. The Bears, I had 3 lineups with them. 14% owned. Aaron Jones, 3% owned. 14% owned. Christian McCaffrey disappointed us. 14% owned. Darren Waller, I had 14% of. Gerald Everett did awesome. I had 14% of him. Then we get into the 10s. I had Justin Jefferson, Irv Smith, Hunter Renfrow, Devontae Adams, Mike Williams, Christian Kirk, the Jets defense, and Alvin Kamara, all at 10% owned. There was some huge hit or misses, but Christian Kirk did well. Justin Jefferson did well. Gerald Everett did well. Zach Ertz got us there. Devontae Adams did awesome. Alvin Kamara kind of disappointed us. Then I had the Giants defense in 1 lineup. The rest of these are 1 lineups. I had the Giants defense in 1 lineup. I had Wan'Dale Robinson in 1 lineup. He left the game early. Adam Thielen only had that 1 catch early. Only had him in 1 lineup. Pat Freiermuth did pretty good. 1 lineup for him. George Pickens. The Dolphins defense did very well with them. 18 points from them. That was awesome. Marquez Valdez-Scantling only had 1 lineup with him. He only got us 8 points, but he did pretty well. And Romeo Doubs, I was very low on him all week long for great reason. And I only had him in 1 lineup for 5%. So that's my exposures for 21 lineups. Yeah, this is the strategy I'm going to roll with most weeks. 7 lineups from each quarterback just makes a lot of sense. So our cash games were very successful. We won 44 out of 50, just losing only 6 lineups. So let's go over this a little bit. I was on Daniel Jones all week as the #1 cash game play, with great reason. So cheap in a great game environment. They pulled it out. They looked awesome. Jonathan Taylor was just an obvious cash game play, but surprisingly, a lot of people were off on him. And it was just crazy. In my tournaments, he was low on. Some cash games like this one here, for instance, he was 50% on, which means I was the only one who had him. Crazy. I could not believe people were fading Jonathan Taylor like that. Christian McCaffrey, also kind of disappointing. I mean, he still got us there, kind of, sort of. I mean, he got a touchdown, but he was 50% on. Just mind-boggling. And after the news that Rondale Moore was out and there was basically no one out there to throw the ball to for Kyler Murray, I was more surprised that Marquise Brown wasn't higher owned in the tournaments I played and even in cash games. Michael Pittman, obvious cash game play, the most obvious wide receiver cash game play on the slate. Romeo Doubs, I played him in cash games. I almost flip that switch. I know I said in my final thoughts that I prefer Dotson over Dobbs in all formats, but I just thought that he was going to be 100% owned and it was basically going to be like a free square. So I went ahead and played him. In this lineup, that's obviously not what happened. But yeah, for the most part, Dobbs was pretty well off owned in cash games. Irv Smith Jr. completely disappointed us in cash games. I thought at that price point it was hard to disappoint, but 0 points for him. That I'll be getting to him a lot in the future. Jamar Chase at 50% owned. I mean, another one that it was just an obvious play, like him or Justin Jefferson or Devontae Adams. I got Chase because he was just so much cheaper than those guys, and I was happy that I did it. One thing I do kind of regret, I had the Steelers as my cash game defense, and I ended up switching to the Vikings last minute before the slate lock, and I kind of regret that I didn't do that. I probably would have won all 50 cash game lineups if I did do that. So that's my cash game lineup. Drop in the comments section, who was your favorite cash game play on this week 1 slate? So let's talk about what really got us into the green for week 1. Patrick Mahomes stacks were off the charts. Travis Kelce went nuclear. Juju Smith-Schuster did his thing. Clyde Edwards-Helaire did his thing. Marquez Valdez-Scantling here in this lineup did his thing. Patrick Mahomes saved my week, made my week, however you want to look at it. He was awesome. Joe Mixon was great. Saquon Barkley was awesome. Like, Saquon, I did not expect Saquon to be this good. I thought maybe he would get maybe like 15 to 22 points, somewhere around there, but he just went nuclear. 36.40 for him. I don't even remember the last time I could say Saquon Barkley did that. That was freaking awesome. Michael Pittman Jr., 30 Draftkings points for him. He played awesome the whole entire game. Can't complain about that. Marquez Valdez-Scantling, not bad for the price point. 8 points. He was 8% owned. I can't complain. Jahan Dotson, I was super psyched about him. 18 Draftkings points for him in his season debut with the Washington Commanders. The rookie looked really good out there. Almost 17% owned. Can't complain with that. Travis Kelce, 29 Draftkings points at 27% owned. Very impressive. Marquise Brown kind of made it for us there at the end in some garbage time points with 14.3 Draftkings points. Very impressive there at almost 29% owned. The Miami Dolphins were basically 11% owned, and they went off 18 Draftkings points at $2,600. That's awesome. I mean, that's what most wide receivers, quarterbacks get, and we got that from a defense at $2,600. That's just freaking awesome. So yeah, that was my top GPP lineup. 213.4 Draftkings points. Got us in second, third, first place in a lot of lineups. I played in over 175 contests. I was very happy with my results. That's it for us here at the Losers Win Again Fantasy Football Channel. Week 1 is in the books, and I hope your week 1 just went as well as mine, or even better. Thanks for everybody that's watched the last couple weeks as we prepare for this week 1 slate. I hope we can turn it back around and do it all over again next week. Same type of content schedule will be out. Appreciate you all for watching. We'll see you next time right here on this channel.